Good morning, everyone. Today, we're going to be doing some exploring in the animal kingdom. We've all been told it's what's on the inside that counts, and that may be true. But today, we're going to be looking at what's on the outside. We're going to use that information to distinguish different groups of animals. We're going to be what scientists like to call taxonomists, which is really just a scientist's fancy way of saying someone who groups organisms like birds and fish into categories. I've given each of you a selection of 80 animal cards and, oh dear, ignore this card, the one of a leather shoe. That one used to be a cow, but that is an interesting way to learn how animals grow and evolve. We're going to find out for ourselves which animals belong together. So we could look at this really big biology book, big old boring book, and we could let it tell us which animals belong in which categories. But I think that's very fun. So instead I made us this branching key. And that'll allow us to ask the right kinds of questions. Questions like, does it fly? Does it swim? Is it dry? Is it wet? These are all excellent questions to ask and help us guide our conversation. So, everybody's ready and they've got their cards, and it looks like you do. Let's begin. So, what do you think all the animals in this group have in common? It's very interesting. So you've got all the underwater animals together here, and you've even got a jellyfish, but the octopus is just here by itself. Why is that? Oh, because the octopus is its own type of animal. But it does look a lot like these ones, doesn't it? It seems like it's very similar in a lot of ways. Maybe it does belong in a group with all the rest. No? The octopus is special and different to all the other animals. That's very interesting that you said that. So I can see here that you've got the cat with the dog in like their own little group. Scientists though, they would put cats with like lions and leopards and cheetahs and tigers. Why do you think there's a difference? So I've noticed you put all these ones together in a group. Why is that? Yeah, they all fly. That's right. But they all have something else in common. Do you know what it is? Yeah, they've all got feathers. But there's something that these ones have that these ones don't. If you could figure out what the difference is, you might be able to split them and make two groups instead. What do you think about that? So you've put all the green animals together in their own little group. And that is definitely one way that you can put it all together. Why do you think that way is useful? So turtles, they can swim, so they maybe belong with the animals underwater, but they can also walk on land, so maybe they belong with these ones. But they're also a reptile, so maybe they belong with these ones. Where do you think it belongs? So everything seems to have a group, but just not these five. Why is that? That's a really interesting way of putting it. Because they don't fit into any of the other groups, they can all come together and make their own. Okay. There are many different ways to put the world together. We could group hawks with seals and elephants because they're all grey. But that wouldn't be very helpful, would it? Instead, scientists have grouped hawks with pigeons and parrots and doves because they've found that what's true for a hawk is often true for a pigeon. But what's true for a hawk isn't always true for an elephant, even if they're both grey. Indigenous Australians, though, they have a totally different way of putting the world together. So, for instance, they'll group animals together whether they're edible or not. And they'll group trees according to whether they're useful as spears or shields or canoes. So you've got one way of putting the world together. Scientists have another way, and Indigenous Australians have another way as well. So there are so many ways to understand the world, and the way science puts it together has helped us understand so much about us, animals, and the relationships between us. But it isn't the only way, and it isn't perfect. That's why it's important to always keep an open mind and to ask questions. Thank you. That's all for today.